All right, sweet man. So yeah, welcome to the show. Welcome to Analog Dialogue.
Thank you. It's
Yeah,
great to be here.
yeah. So I guess just to start out, like for someone who's never heard like what you do, can you describe like your presence in the arts industry?
Oh, that's a fun question. Well, okay, so I guess to start off, I'm currently in the process of finishing my degree at Humber College for music. Um, but I've been around Niagara playing for the last uh 10 to 15 years or so, just around town, playing the library, TJ's Bar and Grill, stuff like that. But recently, when COVID hit everybody, well, I had been building this kind of catalog of music that I'd written and music that I definitely wanted to cover, and people I wanted to do that with. And so I just took to YouTube and started, I bought Pro Tools and I just started going at it, like just here exactly where I'm sitting right now, building these songs. I have the fortunate ability to play a few different instruments. The
Hmm.
guitar is my main gig, but I have a drum kit sitting here. I have a little bit of experience there. Saxophone, which I played in high school, stuff like that. So I was kind of able to build the sound that I liked out of the instruments that I was able to play. And so I
Hmm.
have like about 4 or 5 songs that I've written that I've just thrown up on YouTube that are like funk, uh kind of pop funk, just groovy, funny kind of songs that
Yeah,
it's just been a
it's great
pleasure
stuff, man.
to. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's just been fun to sit here and finally kind of be able to develop some of that material, because it was sitting in my notes app for years, and just like I found it got to a certain point where I had trouble moving on and writing other songs because I had so much stuff just kind of piling up that I was like, I need to do something with this stuff. And so I
Yeah,
just started doing it myself and putting it on YouTube. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I've known you for a little while now. For
Yeah.
probably like when you were in like high school, like starting in like grade 9 or grade 10 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been really cool to see you like sort of go from where you were at the start of high school to where you are now.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's
a
it's
far cry.
yeah. Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's exciting to sort of imagine of where you're headed too, right? Because it seems like every time you put out a new cover or a new original song, it's like man, this is better than the last time. Like you
Right.
just you can tell that you're constantly learning.
Well, that's I'm glad that you said that, Brody, because that was what I hoped was the case. But it's sometimes it's tough to know that for sure as the person doing it, which I'm sure you can speak to, right?
Of
Like
course.
like as a guy who's also self-producing and writing all the time and stuff like that, you're so in your own head about everything. And by the way, right now as we're in COVID, there's nobody to bounce this stuff off of, at least right in the moment. There's nobody to go, is this actually good or not? You could send
Yeah.
it off to your friends and people you trust, but in the moment when you're tracking and you're like, does this work? You have to just fully like trust yourself, which is a really tough thing to do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that somebody sharing my opinion on my own stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, so like do you have much like studio experience like with I'm not sure what the program's like at Humber or anything that you've done outside of that, like you just said that you do mostly because of COVID, you've had to do a lot on your own, right?
Hmm.
But have you had the chance to experience that sort of immediate feedback of doing a session?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there was lots of opportunity for that at Humber, like you were asking. Like there's a beautiful, pristine, amazing studio that we as students get access to at Humber. Um, and I've gotten the opportunity a couple times to go in there and do some sessions for some other people, some friends and stuff, right? And yeah, it is a different bag, like being not the guy in the driver's seat. You know,
Mm.
it's not better or it's not worse. It's just a completely different assignment, you know? Like
Mm.
not only am I the guy being there, not in the chair saying, okay, go, okay, stop, okay, go. I'm also not the guy writing any of the stuff. I'm also like, I'm just the guy that's there with my guitar going, and we'll start from B. Okay. And oh, you want that a little faster? Okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Yeah.
very yes sir, no sir, which is just a totally different, it's a different experience. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I have lots of experience with that, and with working with even home studio stuff like this kind of out of my buddy's dorm in Humber, just like him having these projects and going, oh, I need like, 4 bars of chicken picking in this little part. Could you just like come leave your dorm and travel 2 floors to my dorm, and so we can track this thing? And it's like, yeah, sure, why not, right? You just take
Yeah.
you take all those opportunities. And that has, I mean, also Brody, I went to Rison's music school here in Niagara as a kid, and we had this band, and we were called the Golden Hammers. And this is the band that we would play in, all over town. We had the owner of the store, Ann Damey, who was our kind of our manager. She set us up with all these gigs. We would make money off of these gigs. We were like 7 to 12. So what are you going to spend that money on? Hookers? No, that's not, So we
You
pooled
spent it
all
on
this
penny
money.
candy, man.
No, honestly, we pooled the money and we saved it, and we spent it on an album
Okay.
of songs that we recorded at 11 years old or something. And it
Yeah.
was like all like, Beatles covers, Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
It was, and that was like 10 years ago this year. So I've been around that environment for so long. And it's funny,
Mhm.
like I've talked about this recently with some friends. It's like when you are 7 years old and gigging, it's not really a question of like learning how to do it. It's kind of like it's a weird developmental thing where it just latches onto you and doesn't let go, like it's not a question of, oh, I've been doing it for so long that I know how it works. No, it's a question of, I've been doing it since I was, before I knew what my times tables were. And so like it's instinct, at this
Mhm.
point, which is a very, I'm saying that and realizing how fortunate I am to be able to say that, and that not many people can say that. And yeah, so I'm a very lucky guy when it comes to those opportunities and those experiences of being able to get out there and studio time, performing live in bars at that age and everything, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. But you made yourself open to those opportunities, which is which is
yeah,
in- which is super important, you know.
definitely.
Um so like, okay, so you have the sort of studio recording experience from since you were young, and now that you've sort of been forced into doing, stuff out of your room, essentially, do you have a preference when it comes to those two options, like being in a studio with other musicians or doing it on your own?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if it's a preference of studio to garage. I think it's just a preference of having people there, having somebody to bounce
Mm.
ideas off of. That like recently it's sort of been harder and harder to wake myself up and record stuff out of this space, because it's just exhausting, not for me at least, exhausting not having um a friend there to stop you and start you and say, actually, let's try it this way, where you kind of hang
Mhm.
on to this part a little longer and we'll see how it, but I just really missed that. um and it got to the point where I missed it so much, it was frustrating me to not have it and to have to record by myself,
Mhm.
so it isn't really a question of like, I guess the qualifier there would be like the gear. like in a studio where you have the plexiglass and the snakes and all that stuff. It's just more of a question of, do I have people around me whose opinions I trust and who I can collaborate with? That's the
Sure.
biggest difference, yeah, between those.
Yeah. So collaboration's obviously a big thing for you.
Well, this is what I've learned. Like I didn't know that, but now having done it for so long by myself, it's an itch that I haven't been able to scratch, and I've sort of realized that, right?
mhm. Yeah. So yeah, so you've, I mean, clearly been collaborating like your whole musical life. Um, and like what kind of role have like the music studios that you studied at, like like the lesson studios, like you said, Ryson's, and now just sort of like a basically a bigger music studio, Humber, right?
Yeah.
Like a big
Yeah.
big community of other musicians. um how has that sort of like led you down your path as a musician? Because at least in Niagara, from my experience, we don't have many like church bands where like you hear that story a lot, where it's like, oh, I came up through playing music at church, right? And I feel like you can do a lot of singing at church around here, but I don't see, and maybe I'm just not looking in the right places. You just don't see too many bands at churches. So it seems like you kind of got that experience, that church experience, through lesson studios. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
For
so
sure.
how yeah, so how did that kind of uh like how important was that to you?
Um Incredibly important. I mean, like I said, I just feel so blessed to be able to say that I've had the opportunities that I've had, because like you said, there isn't much in the way of big musical communities outside of, if you're not going to go to a lesson studio, you can't find that type of musical collaboration anywhere unless you start it yourself, right?
Hmm.
And even then, it's like not close to as big as like if you join the lesson studio, you have access to these players that you would have never met and therefore
Hmm.
wouldn't have access to, right? So yeah, I mean, growing up at Ryson's with that big community, like I think kudos to the owner, Anne, for having these like big festivals at the end of the year. She would host them at Silver Spire Church. Like we would just come in and we would have stuff prepared from whatever it is, our book, just learning stuff by ear. We would just come in and perform it. She would put these different bands together and just have this big like variety show. And that was like a huge opportunity to see what everybody was doing and to feel that sense of community.
Hmm.
Um, because it is lacking in Niagara. You can, like you said, you can probably sing in Niagara, but it's kind of the boring type of church singing. Like I was at Humber in a
I
gospel
know what you mean.
choir,
Yeah.
and we went to a service and performed. And it was like, I've gone to church since I was a kid. I went to Catholic school, but nobody ever had any energy like compared to what I'm witnessing right now, people getting up out of their seats. That would have
Mhm.
never happened unless the Monsignor asked you to, like 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 where is all this energy coming from? And
Yeah.
and what have I been missing? Right. So yeah, you're totally right. Like unless you're so lucky, like I can fortunately say I am, to have found somewhere that fosters that type of community, you're
Hmm.
kind of SOL, right? And so
Hmm.
that's where I think um I have I have been given a gift, you know, as a musician, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to what you mentioned earlier about being like a multi-instrumentalist.
Oh, okay.
Um, I mean, you do, like, you play just about everything, like if you check out your YouTube videos, it's just a grid of Dexter and playing, multi-tracking guitars and bass and drums and vocals and whatever else. So can you, without going into crazy stuff like, the mouth harp, what, like, can you list the instruments that you play, and I guess like the artists that you would say you kind of look up to on each of those instruments?
Ooh, yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. So guitar is first and foremost for me. It's the one I started on, the one I am at Humber to learn.
Mm,
And yeah, man, like as far as guitar players, it shifts. Like I'm not a guy who has a guitar hero. It just
mm,
it shifts depending on my personal skill level, my taste. So I would say probably going into college, it was Tommy Emmanuel, who's this crazy, if you don't know who that is, this
mm-hmm.
insane a fingerstyle guitarist. But I think fingerstyle is a gross word to me. I don't like that word. Like it just cheapens what those people do. I feel like I don't know
Yeah,
what the word
yeah,
should be, but just feel like finger style is not it. Like it just
yeah.
doesn't encapsulate the skill level that you need to play that stuff. And especially in the world of bluegrass and country, which is where that stuff came from, right? Which is what Tommy does so often and nails. But anyways, yeah. So that was my number one for a very long time. Oh gosh, asking me right now is a tricky one.
Mhm.
Because right now I've sort of been getting into more bands, more of a bigger picture sound than just
Sure.
specific guitar players. So I would
Oh,
say
okay.
like the guitar player from a band we both like, Lawrence. His name's Johnny Quo, I think is how you say it.
Okay.
And just listening into the stuff that he does on those records is hugely inspiring because it's very understated. I mean, the guy can shred till the end of the day. Like it doesn't matter to him, but he's very tasteful. He does those like very like chicken pickeny kind of short staccato stuff that
Mm,
funks up that recording. And so
mhm.
that's probably my answer right now. um I would say for drummers, there's this band called Fat Function, which I have fallen in love with.
Okay.
With both of them have PHs, by the way.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, right. Like you need it. And the drummer for that band um is my biggest influence for sure, because I put their records on and I play along to them, right? And
Mm,
he
mhm.
just like, it's so clean. Like it's all funk music as well, as you could probably guess from the title of the band.
Yeah.
But it's very like it is choppy. It does sound sort of like those chops that you get from playing in church, like you said,
Mhm.
but it's just so clean. Oh, bass players, I mean, you can't go wrong with Larry Graham, right? I mean, anything that Sly and the Stone has done
Yeah.
is groundbreaking, brilliant. There's so
Mm.
many words for that, but yeah, Victor Wooten, who's like, no, there's nobody better on the planet.
Yeah,
Uh,
just a machine.
just ridiculous. I went crazy for this guy a few months ago. His name's Brian Bromberg. Have you ever heard of this guy?
No.
He's a bass player. He and it's funk records as well. Again, I can't get enough of it. It's like a drug. Um, but he has this like piccolo guitar, or piccolo bass rather, and he plays all the shreddy guitar solos that you hear, like with all kinds of crunch and everything on this piccolo bass. And he's like sounds like Van Halen, and he's
Yeah.
just a bass player. And it's just like the if you want to just have your mind blown as a bass player or as a musician, just go listen to his records, and you will cry because you'll never be that good. you know it's
Yeah,
almost, it's like,
man.
it's what I call quitting music.
Yeah, just makes you put your guitar down.
Yeah. I mean, only for a while though, but yeah,
Yes, yeah.
nonetheless, it's quit music. It's like, oh, what are you kidding me? Like, what is
Yeah,
that? Who, what,
yeah.
what, what meteor did you crash down on this planet in? Like, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Uh,
like I said though, it's just ever shifting. Like I just never
mhm,
settle on
yeah.
any sort of one real guy, you know.
Yeah. So so it tends to be groups for you because you've at least looking at like more recent projects like on with doing different covers and um on like Solace Keeps Me Sane, you've got like on in the video for that you've just got a bunch of people in there too.
Everybody I've
So
ever known in my life
yeah.
who wanted to do. I reached out to everybody I've ever known, but then the people who wanted to do that stupid, ridiculous thing for me that they were so sweet to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So it shows that in the sort of in your influences and in your experiences and what you're making and everything that this sort of community and collaboration is huge. It seems like it's a like a big part of and
Yeah.
I think that that could be true of other musicians too.
Oh, big time. I mean that's the whole reason why those institutions are put in place. Like
Mm,
like people don't
mhm,
go to Humber because they want to learn modes and the flat 9 scale. Like people don't go there for that. They go there because they know they know they're going to meet other musicians who are just as
yeah.
hungry as they are,
Mhm,
and obviously the faculty too, who's just like at Humber, like they're all famous Juno winning. It's just stupid, but like it's about that. It's about meeting people who are, like I said, just as hungry as you, just as willing to put in all the work and be as passionate as you are, um, on the same on the same level, I guess, right?
mhm. Yeah, yeah. So when you when you go to write a new tune, you've got the notes app where you have like the ideas jotted down. I know a lot of folks do that too.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but does anything in particular inspire you to write music?
Yeah, I think it kind of boils down to three kind of different approaches that come to me at least, and sort of subconsciously. Like it's never, and I wish that this were the case, but it's never kind of an effort where I sit down and go, okay, I'm going to write a song today. Like I
Hmm.
so wish that I could treat this business as a 9 to 5 punch in punch out type of thing. Like that would be that's the dream. But alas, like you have to, for a song to be good. Like I've done that and the song's terrible, right? And it's like
Hmm.
this is not inspired by anything. This is like just boring and doesn't speak to me. And but when you come come up with a hook, like that's probably the one that I've been doing more lately, is like the hook writing. Is like, oh, what if there's a song called "You Can't Fix Stupid"? Okay, let's develop that. What's the song about? Okay, so maybe it's about like this guy who's just like has fun being an idiot, but then he meets this girl and he realizes that he wants to become smarter. So he says, if you can't fix stupid, then who's going to fix me? And that's your hook, right? So it
Hmm.
develops from that central idea into this bigger thing. The other one that sort of happens a lot is like the first line, the where you come up with, you just sort of sit down and go and then you come out with one line to that's the very start of the song, and then you let it snowball out from there, right?
Hmm.
And you figure out what the chorus is about when you get there, right?
Yeah.
uh and then the last one is probably the just like the cool chord progression or the cool riff that you come up with, that you just desperately need to put somewhere, so you kind of build it around that, right?
Hmm. Yeah. So have you noticed that, like, is there anything that initiates that? Like, is there sort of a state of mind or an experience or?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, in my love life, there's no shortage of inspiration for songs that that highlight that.
Yeah.
Um, but I, you know, I like I write goofy, ridiculous songs, about please subscribe to me. Like just,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
here's an idea. Let's I'm trying to build this YouTube channel. Let's make a channel trailer where it's a funk song, where all the lyrics are telling you how amazing and incredible I am, and that you should definitely subscribe to me. And it's very like tongue in cheek and stupid.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, there's also this song, which is the first single I released, called Catch Up, which is a song all about, me living inside my own brain and being so neurotic and dangerously self-aware,
Hmm.
that it eats at me, and it lessens like my quality of life, right? Like there's a big dichotomy kind of when it depends on when I want to take myself seriously and when I don't, right? If I don't want
Hmm.
to take myself seriously, I'll write something self-deprecating and funny and stupid. And then when I do, I really do. And it's like, oof, like, do I really want to do I really want to release this? Like, it has
Yeah.
intimate details about how fucked up I am and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but it's just what strikes those ideas though. That's a really hard question, because I don't know about you, but like I just find myself going,
Mm.
and then just sitting down and doing it. Like it's very tough to qualify, other than just like events that happen, like a breakup or something.
Hmm.
It's hard to, qualify how those dumb ideas come up. I don't know. What
Yeah.
about you? Like, does it happen like that for you, or do you sit down and are you very intentional about it?
I mean, yeah, for me, most of the time, it's a sort of an idea just sort of comes in, like same thing that you said, right? Like that idea just pops in your head, and you're like, I need to put a guitar in my hands right now
Mm-hmm.
before this leaves, right? And you start writing stuff down. Um, and then sometimes it's I'm just being an idiot and want to write something stupid. um like the Christmas song that I put out, that was initially
Awesome.
like well, no, that was thanks, that was just like, there's this joke on this podcast that I listened to where like they had this bit around Christmas time where it's like, oh, that's a Christmas to me. And I was like, well, I'm going to write a song called Christmas to Me. And just like, it started out as a joke and then ended up kind of being like, this is actually kind of fun. Like I
Yeah,
I like this. I'm gonna see this through.
that's the thing about those Christmas hits, man. Like you never know. Like they're always those kind of hooky idea based songs, right?
Mm,
But
yeah.
but you never know what's gonna stick and what's gonna
Yeah.
go. Oh, actually, you know what? This might be good. Oh my
Yeah.
God, what? Right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So how do you feel about that though? Like um being tied to creating in that way, where it's not purposeful. It just kind of happens out of your control.
Yeah, I'm kind of attracted to that in a way. I I'm a very very type B person. I don't have like a type A bone in my body. Every time, I have to do any kind of paperwork of any like length or capacity, it's like, just shoot me now. I can't do it. So yeah, in a way it just sort of that's kind of how my type B-ness manifests in my personality.
Mhm.
Is just like these sporadic random spouts of hard work, right? Like, you know, an idea comes up and you just work like crazy and you don't eat and you don't sleep until it's done. And then the
Mhm.
next day you wake up and you watch TV. And it's like, I feel awful right now for watching TV, but also I just got a shit ton of work done yesterday on that thing that I came up with. And, so it's just a matter of managing your time differently, and probably worse. Like that's the bottom line, is probably it's not good for me. Like as a functioning human being,
Yeah.
not a good, no. But as a somebody who is trying to be creative for a living, I mean, you need it. You need to have a messy studio and
Mm.
like, you know, intentionally forget about the stuff you're doing, and all of that's like, you need that chaos in your life for any sort of worthwhile. I mean, that's just in my opinion, but for
Yeah.
me, like, uh I can't wake up at the same time every day and eat the same meal every morning and all that stuff, and then also be incredibly creative and trying to be innovative and all that stuff. Those two just
Mhm.
for me don't work. They don't go hand in hand. So
Mm.
it's unfortunate that that's the case, that I have to be insane and stay up till 3 in the morning. But you know, that's the price we pay, I guess, as artists.
Sure, sure, yeah, yeah. Um, so what about when you're in like when you're in a slump? Like inevitably that happens. How do you pull yourself out of that?
Yeah, time. It's the only thing you can do is just like wait. Like I said, kind of intentionally forget. For There were times, especially in COVID, like trying to record stuff, that I got very frustrated and starting to have like breakdowns and stuff like that because of how little progress it felt like I was making, even though like you said, like every project is slightly better than the last, but when you're in it, it does not feel like that. It feels like this is such shit and I should be ashamed of myself.
Hmm.
And when that stuff starts to happen, throw a chair. Uh, like it's not great, but it works.
I'll have to try that.
Right? Just find like a surface that you don't mind getting like a scratch on it. Like don't throw your chair at a glass window, but but throw a chair. Don't throw your headphones, because that's what I did and I broke them, and
Oh no.
I'm not going to go get new ones because they still work, but the one ear is like all fucked now. But
Oh
anyways,
yeah. Yeah.
so just throw something that you are okay with throwing. Like be mad, right? And be like, oh, and then just look around your house for like something old that you can smash, like very carefully,
Yeah.
like while you're
Something
mad.
something yeah, something's like old enough, but not so old that it's like an heirloom, you know?
Yeah, right. And valuable. Exactly.
Right.
Like you're not gonna, like, if you find a metal chair, one of those foldable ones, you're not gonna hurt that. So grab
No.
that thing. You could unfold it if you want, or just leave it there. You could hold on to it and do this, or you could just let it go, like you're playing that discus thing. There's plenty of options.
Wild, man. That's wild.
Anyway, no, time. Like I said, time. Time heals all wounds,
Yeah.
right? And it just, the thing about music is that your ears need a break. Like in
Mm-hmm.
long term and short term, if you're in a session, you have to close that thing and go get a bite to eat, go for a walk. You need that, because inevitably, if you tried to work on a session from start to finish and then release it immediately, like imagine that. You'll go on to wherever you posted it, you'll click it on, and you'll be like, oh my God, what have I done? And you will
Yeah.
delete it immediately and start again.
Yeah.
You need those ear breaks, because you go, like, that commercial Nose Blind.
Oh
Have you ever
yeah.
seen
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
commercial? I've gone
Yeah.
nose blind to the odors in my home.
Yeah.
It's like that, but with your ears. It's like you hear the stuff happening, but it's now in your subconscious, because you've
Yeah.
clicked it and replayed it over and over and over. So you
Right.
forget that it's there, so you need that, you need just time to watch the Queen's Gambit and figure out a new type of pretzel that you like. And, you know, and just wait, and you will, and if it's ingrained in you, like sort of it is in me, you will always come back to it. You will always, if not that project, if you're like, take like a week's break and you're like, I still hate that, then just get rid of it. But you will come back to some sort of creating
Mhm.
always, so
Yeah.
yeah, time and throwing a chair.
Do you produce your own music? Because it sounds really good.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I do. Yeah. Um, I just have these two studio, these like the basic like KRK, those ones.
Hmm.
That I don't have like any kind of subwoofer. I don't have soundproofing in this room. So it's just a very like jerry-rigged process of mixing. But yeah, I mean, I've been around it enough to have a developed ear and sort of know what I want to hear. And so
Hmm.
up till now, I have been producing myself. And like you said, like I go back and listen to the first stuff that I produced, like not only recorded but mixed and mastered myself. And it's like, oh my God, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
Oh my, who is this guy? Right? But then you zoom forward to the latest release and you're like, oh, that guy. Like it's just that. It's just that, but slightly worse. And that's only because now I have these drum mics, and I know how to use those EQ plugins and everything, right? Like it's
Hmm.
it's just it's like anything else. You just do it enough and you get better, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, but now I'm my friend Josh Kalidrakos, who, shout out to him. He's starting a studio in downtown St. Catharines right now. So if you need any studio work done, go get it from him.
Is that
Um,
Suitcase?
that's right. Yeah, Suitcase
Okay.
Studios. Yeah, so look that up on Instagram or something if you ever need some real studio time, because it's a nice studio. Like it's a legitimate one with real soundproofing and you know cables and microphones.
Yeah.
It's like,
No egg cartons, man. He's got
yeah,
the.
and exactly, and one of those desks that go like this, like that have the C shape that you could go over here, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's key. You know,
But yeah,
you
no. So I've been there for the last couple days because, bless his heart, I mean, I helped him paint a couple walls in that place when he was setting it up, and he's like, "Come in and do a free session," and I was like, "What? Yeah." So I've been there doing a couple of new songs, and Brody, it's been a long time since I've truly
Mhm.
been in the same room with an artist and really collaborated with them, and it feels really freaking good. Especially with a
Nice.
guy like him who's just works like crazy, so hard, and has great ideas and everything, and just you trust him implicitly, and it just feels really good to be back in that sort of environment.
Yeah. So why why is it so important for you to create?
Oh, Brody, what have you done? I have. I'm a neurotic human being. um I have been, like I said, sort of in and around adjacent to this world for so long that it's sort of part of me anyways. Like regardless if I went to school to be an accountant, which I would never do, but hypothetically if I did, I would never be doing accountant stuff. Like if I got
Hmm.
accountant homework, it was not getting done. It was guitar in my hands, like just fiddling around
Hmm.
and not getting anywhere. Like that's the thing, right? So if I'm in school for music, then at least I'm learning something while I have that guitar in my hand. Because if I if I if I was if I wasn't in music school, it would just be happening anyways, just at a lower level. So at least I'm getting a little something out of that. So that's kind of my answer for why I'm in music school, I guess. But why I am constantly creating, I think there's a couple of neuroses there that are at work. Like, I don't know. I think I care too much about being well liked by people. And so it's sort of like a way of seeking approval, kind of,
Mhm.
which is diving deep into my subconscious, but hey, right? So that's kind of happening. Um, Probably like a little like pinch of narcissism, you know. Uh, but mostly, man, like especially with the type of music that I'm trying to make, it's about getting people to dance. Like that's the biggest thing. Like I've
Mm.
said this a bunch of times, but you know that moment like if you're at a party and there's music playing and then there's a little like lull in the conversation and then you see somebody going like this, like to the music that's going.
Mhm.
I want that. I want that to be me making that happen so bad. Like that's
Yeah.
such a small thing, but it shows how much music creeps into every day and is just sort of ethereally there and unavoidable. And so I just have such a deep desire to want to be a part of that because I just want somebody to stop talking at a party and go, "Oh, what's that? That's cool."
Yeah.
Right? Like that, like such a
Yeah.
small moment, but so important to the longevity of this business that we're in. And yeah, I don't know. Narcissism.
Yeah, I mean like music can easily become wallpaper, but to be that one thing that sticks out, right? Or like you said, make someone go like, "Who's this?"
Hmm.
It is like that's huge.
And
Absolutely
even if
huge.
they don't notice like they're doing it, like even if they're like this at
Mm,
a party and they're like, so anyways, like did you catch that game last night? Wow, what a crazy pitch. Or wow, oh, like I don't know anything about sports, but wow, what a basket. But like this is happening, and I as a student of music watch that in those moments.
mhm.
I sit back and I'm listening to them talk and I'm watching them do this and I'm like, it's infested in you. It's in your mind, in your brain right now, and you don't even know it. Like how crazy and cool is that?
Yeah.
Like if I could say that for myself, my I would retire. Like that's all I want out of life is just to subconsciously creep into somebody's day, which sounds creepy now that I say it, but it's true, I guess.
Yeah. Well, man, with that, I want to thank you for coming on for coming on the show. Um, so where can people find what you do?
Oh, you can go to my Instagram at Dexter Frank Music, and I have a link there to my YouTube, and I post like snippets of stuff that I post on YouTube, and no, I've got unfortunately my subscriber count is not high enough to have a slash yet, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So please go subscribe. I need like 20 more and then I can have my own URL.
Nice. So for the
So,
time being, it's
yeah,
youtube.com/82746. Yeah.
V 1212. Yeah, exactly. So if you please want to go to exactly what I just said. No, no, like yeah, so I think the fastest way is probably go to my Instagram at Dexter Frank Music and then visit everything from there. I'm working for a theater company in Niagara called NewWerxProductions, and I'm posting right now. We're posting a lot of like I'm doing these teacher tips where I come in and I teach how to play different things on the guitar. And right now I'm taking that series through a composition that I wrote, something like just step by step how I wrote it. So if that interests you, go check that out. New Works Productions. That's pretty much it.
Sweet. Yeah, and I'll have links to all that in the description of this video too, so people can
Oh,
don't even
awesome.
have to search. You can just click or tap. It's
Thank
right. It'll
God.
be right there.
Because if there's one thing I hate, it's searching. I just hate that.
We can dig into that too, but
Yeah, next episode is all about my hate of searching.
all right. Thanks again, man. Good to see
Okay,
you.
Brody, it was a pleasure being here, and this thing is awesome what you're doing. So I wish you good luck with it.
Thanks a lot, man.